Is anyone there anymore? So I'll do a quick video. There's no reason to do these videos when there's like, I think no one really watching. Um, so that's why I'm not even bothering doing this from my computer. But anyway, just wanted to come on and say what my thoughts are as of now. Um, all I can do is hope that if you hear anything, that is my cat in the background playing with toys. Um, so all I can do is hope that what has been going on at some point, maybe there was something nefarious, and now there's something at the end that's good about what is happening. Um, and I can only hope because I know the other side of it, which is the fear. The fear paralyzes you. Some people say being well, people that believe in like QAnon or something like that, like I will agree, like that's the savior, the external savior. And yeah, that's the bad part of hope, is this more so ignorant type of hope that's based in fear. But so I'm hoping in a different way because I don't know the truth either way of what is going on, and none of us do. We can pretend all we want, none of us actually know anything. So we're along for the ride, I suppose. Um, so, but I just know that the hope I have is not paralyzing. I actually feel genuine compassion and genuine uh, unconditional love. I understand what unconditional love is now. It basically, and to the degree that we are all one and we all are connected. I don't mean like all one world, new order thing, but I have seen it, I have felt it. We are connected, and so inherently, I love you. I love everyone. So really, it's every day is like finding, like, in what way can I access that? Because it's not. It's easy in the sense that all you have to do is kind of know, have faith. It's there. There's a knowingness, sure. There's a knowingness. I've experienced it, but a lot of times you get into the dark and you don't feel it anymore, and you think, "What am I doing wrong?" But then you panic, and then you can't access it because it's the opposite of fear. This unconditional love, opposite. Um, so that's like my everyday is like, how do I experience this unconditional love? And a lot of it is just being vulnerable, like I said. So having a knowingness that it's there, but then being vulnerable, because and allowing that to actually come to you, because it's not something that you can do with the mind. It's not something that you can just try to do to access that unconditional love. um and so a lot of that I've experienced because I had reached the end of my ego and the end of my ability to control a situation. And when that happens and you are left with you, what is you? Not the ego. There's a soul. And through that, you realize, uh, yeah, you realize that unconditional love. That's just one way. I'm sure I could sit and, but I just wanted to just express why I'm taking more of a hopeful path. Um, and I think that through that, being more hopeful and getting the unconditional love, I am finding those ways to advocate and those ways to fight. Fighting not the traditional sense. You cannot win the battle on their terms, on their territory. You cannot win it. They rule that. So you have to find the power within. And a lot of that has to do with the internal work that a lot of people don't seem to want to do. And I understand why it's very scary. But at some point, my body has stopped me. 6 years ago or so, no, well, 5, 6 years ago, I worked for the healthcare industry. I was complicit in building electronic medical records. I specifically, for my hospital I worked with, designed a lot of the vaccine tracking in the medical record, so that that was the beginning. I saw that, and of course at the time I'm thinking like, this is the good thing to do. I mean, but in the part of it was like I saw as the years went on at that job, going like, why are we putting 100% in the electronic? Shouldn't the electronic like supplement, real human interaction with something as extreme as healthcare? And so I think back then though I was in so much fear of losing my job, but my anxiety made me have to leave. I couldn't sleep. I had stomach issues, volcanic like reflux and just pain all the time, and I had to leave. I even had surgery back then because my ego was so much that I had to control the situation. So I had surgery to like combat those issues. So, but being out of work, I was able to work on myself, So, and I think that at the end of the day, that's an opportunity that everyone has. In some way, shape, or form, they can work on themselves, but and I understand the ego is just clings. It will not voluntarily experience pain. So for me, though, it came years ago with that my body stopped me, and I think of it too as like my spirit intervened and said, okay. I think it's like my spirit, which I can't really perceive most of the time, but um, I feel like if I could talk with it, if it could speak, it would probably be like, I saw 2020 2021 coming, and this is the stuff you've been preparing for, and I didn't want to experience that all at once, and I probably wouldn't have survived. So my spirit intervened years ago, in like 2015, really, is when, and it was during my Saturn return. If I don't really follow astrology that much, but if you do, there you go. So I got on the boat with that. So that's why I do a hopeful path, and I get drawn into some channels still that have a very fear based, because they think that like, well, you need to know these things and you need to fight. And I'm going to tell you that's not going to work. That is digging your own grave. That is just making it easy for all of this to go down, because the way in which, if you're going to galvanize a fight, galvanize, is that the word? Anyway, if you're trying to rally up a fight, to combat, it's not going to be through fear, and it's not going to be through anxiety. It's going to be, like I said, being vulnerable, having faith, knowing yourself, the inner work, down to the depths, inner child, and beyond into your soul. Embodying that, and then seeing and feeling. It's really a lot of feeling, which takes a lot of vulnerability. I remember just even a few years ago, like 2, 3 years ago, maybe, probably just even 2 years ago, I remember like trying so hard to feel. I would go on these like little walks in nature, and I'm like, why am I not feeling anything? Why am I not? And now I can access that. It's amazing, you know? Yeah, does it solve my whole life? No. Am I still here? Yeah. Do I want to be here? Well, I want to be somewhere better. That'd be great. So, but like, it's amazing what I've gone through. It just is unfortunate that the world has now is doing what it's doing, and I wish it didn't have to come to this. So I'll end it with saying, like, I do think that things are just going to get so much darker, and I'm not saying that out of fear. I am not saying that out of fear. I am saying that from a place of knowingness. There's definitely a difference. The trajectory to me is the only way people will wake up to like what I experience is they have to be jolted out of it. This is jolting out of it. This is being uncomfortable. This is being at the depths of your sanity, your health and everything, at the depths of that, and to come out of that is where you're going to find that connection, and it's going to be so ugly. And I think that for us who have woken up, we're a little ahead in the game. We're in this, and that's to me being steady in it, to have experienced that that wave, that just that ride, the tragedies of of your whole world falling apart but still surviving, and everyone's going to have to go through that, and they're going to try to drag us down with them, and they can't, but they're going to probably do that cuz they're looking for a leader. They're looking for us to lead, and it's like, we'll lead you, like, you know, we'll tell you you need to be grown. We'll give you the kind of tough love. They'll see it as tough love, but at least it's love. So, I think that's why they will try to tear us down. Do I think it will all come down to the worst scenarios? I hope not. I really hope not. And what I mean by that, I mean like setting up like concentration camp style stuff. And because my theory is, if I think right now that that's absurd, that's now still on the table now. It's on the table now. Because the idea a few years ago that what is happening now seemed actually absurd. So now I think, well, what's absurd? Oh yeah, people aren't going to go for that. People are going to see through that. And yes, the darker it gets, more people will wake up. And when I say wake up, not a fight, not the fear. They're going to wake up genuinely with something strong from their inner self, their inner core, and their soul. It's going to be like, absolutely not. We are going to defend everyone from the tyranny. Yeah. And everyone will rise up, but it has to happen this way because we can't keep having people lead. There's never going to be trust in lead. There's always going to be fear in that. You're never going to know what your leaders are up to, their ulterior motives, and what they do with, when you don't see them. So I just think that I can see it going dark, 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 dark. But as it happens, as it's been happening, people wake up more. So, and then at some point, that scale will tip. I don't know when. It's all dependent on how extreme and how fast they go. So, from the looks of it, in 6 months, it's going to be extremely apparent to people. And it will be hard. Like, there's people in my family who are very pro shots. And I can't even say it. They're pro that. And, they're kind of like, don't want to talk to me, but they don't like hate me outwardly. Like, but there's this kind of like fervoring thing, in my family. And but when it comes time to me getting sent to a camp because I didn't comply, and they're gonna, and of course it's gonna be worded differently, like, oh, we can't have them in society where they can't be trusted, we got to do it. I would hope that my family would be like, yeah, okay, this is too much, and then they stand up. Part of me also thinks, actually, I don't know, but it will only get as dark as it has to. Now, what if, these camps actually, I'm not advocating for it, for God's sake, but I have to be that fool, but the fool, like the tarot fool, the one that actually has like faith, is in the rhythm of life, and there's a trust there, and it works. Um, you are guided. You don't have to think, and you don't have to fight. You just have to feel. You have to have that faith, and you're guided, you know? And so part of me is like, well, you go to the camp, maybe they just tell you, they're like, oh, you guys are the brave ones. You guys are in. Now we got to wait for these schmucks outside to listen. We'll just fake your death like we've done all the celebrities. And then, here, chill out until, but this has to be done this way. I don't know, but I don't care if it takes having to die, because I mean, I do care, but um this is just too much at stake. And part of me is like, well, maybe that we are here, the people that are awake, the is more awake you are here to lead, but not, again, not lead by taking control, but lead by example. So that is all.